Hello, it's Lady Lay on the telly.
And I'm Natasha.
And this is Yeah, Nah.
The review show for RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under.
If you enjoy this content, please make sure to like this video and subscribe for more.
If you don't and you're wondering why I'm so down on my energy today, I can't move my lips. Let's get into it.
So, what happened? Oh, Anita's just left. Keita and Karen both look cut up.
Yeah, I was surprised how affected Karen was about the whole thing.
I actually think Karen's been quite supportive of the Kiwis girls. You can tell that she's also watched House of Drag, and she even lent one of her wigs to Elektra last week for the runway.
I did love that in the reading challenge when they referred to House of Drag's
Yeah,
exit
I liked
line.
that.
That was very, very funny. Yeah.
I also really liked that Keita said to etc. If you're so woke, I just wonder when you're going to wake the fuck up.
Yes. Well, might as well talk about the elephant in the room. Obviously, the scandal about Scarlett doing blackface and appropriating other cultures made its way onto the television show, and I think it's very important that it was addressed. At the end of the day, I mean, it's not our position to tell someone whether or not they're being held accountable. I just think she's going to have to live with it, and she's going to have to live with the consequences and hopefully do better by those communities that she's harmed. But I do agree with etc. that I at no point could take that as funny.
Yeah.
I struggle to understand how she didn't have the sight.
I'm quite glad that it was addressed on the show. As someone who lives in New Zealand, I'm very aware that both New Zealand and Australia are extremely racist countries. We have so many cultures here, and so many people love to throw a joke at all of them. And I think that it's good that our communities will be able to see that pointing that fun and making fun of race is wrong.
There's no place for it. It exists very prominently. We see it in our communities. We see it at the expense of Indigenous communities, especially Aboriginal communities in Australia. Pacifica Māori cultures in New Zealand are at the brunt of a lot of racism, a lot of stereotypes, and hopefully, if nothing else, this directs a mirror at the audience and hey, this is the thing that we've got present in our communities, and you need to be challenging it the way that we're challenging it on the show. At the bare minimum, at least, we are seeing hey, this isn't acceptable behaviour, and you will ultimately face accountability for the community and the people that are watching.
Yeah, I think that that's a good conclusion, considering that we, as white people, aren't people to say when she has done enough. And I think that
it isn't for us to decide.
It isn't for us to decide.
To measure if somebody is being held accountable or not. Ultimately, it's the communities, and it's with her and the action she takes going forward.
I enjoyed watching them all with... Oh, I love Rena Owen. Spoiler alert, she's one of the guest judges, but I love her as an actress.
Yes, yeah.
I also love Suzanne Paul.
Yes, I was so excited to see Suzanne Paul and her not understanding heaps of the drag references. Vegemite.
Marmite. These are yeast spreads.
How do you feel about Vegemite or Marmite?
I actually prefer Vegemite.
Do you actually tell a distinct difference? I actually do not know the difference between Vegemite and Marmite.
If you have ulcers in your mouth, you can tell when you're eating Vegemite or Marmite.
Okay, but how?
Marmite hurts more on the ulcers.
Why do you have ulcers in your mouth?
I think I have a really low immune system.
Oh.
I've always had ulcers in my... Yeah.
That's not great.
I don't know if I'm that healthy, Natasha.
Maybe. I mean, I'm not a doctor by any means.
Doctor.
But I don't know if Marmite or Vegemite having less impact on the ulcers is beneficial.
I just think it's really, really exciting when I get to enjoy Marmite or Vegemite, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's no ulcers in my mouth.
The thing is, enjoy Vegemite and Marmite is not a sentence I understand.
You do not like them?
No, disgusting. I will say, we did get to see a lot of the pit crew, which was fabulous. So a lot of Sean this episode.
A lot of Sean this episode. I want to find out the other guy's name.
Yeah, he was hot too.
Yeah.
Acting superstars.
Yeah, Elektra got to pretend to blow it.
One thing I really did like was her asking for consent and those acting things.
Yeah.
I'm sure drag queens do it all the time, but it was the first time we've actually seen it on the show.
Yeah.
And I think it was really cool. I'm like, you should show that more because people do not respect boundaries all the time. So it's really nice to see her ask for consent and strive. Like, she did such a good job.
Yeah, she's, worked in professional situations where she knows that people are maybe performing in a particularly sexualized way. That doesn't mean or that there's any consent there, and that like when you're working with professional people, there's still consent involved. And I think that she showed that she had like a great directorial eye in the challenge, and I really like how she set everything up and ran things, and she seemed great to work with.
She got the best outcome too. I think that we should probably dive us into the challenge.
Yeah, let's go.
I think her one was excellent. It was very funny. Keita's was very funny. I loved the Divine reference. It was tongue-in-cheek and filthy in a way that a lot of the others were, but it made sense with the product.
Yes.
Like, there was the attachment to the product. I think other people were filthy and didn't attach it to the product. I think that's where Etc. stumbled, and I think that's where Scarlett Adams stumbled.
I think that Scarlett Adams stumbled in a very different way. I think that on a show that doesn't respect that women are great drag artists, it's definitely in poor taste to direct humour at vaginas and being, calling vaginas yeasty. It felt not nice.
No.
And I was watching it with a friend of mine who felt quite annoyed, as there's someone who often feels quite perturbed by the way that gay men treat women's bodies.
I just burped.
Should we pause it there?
No, it's honest. This is the hard-hitting stuff.
If you were to market a yeast spread, would you call it No Mate?
I might. I might.
Might. What would you call
I
your...
Marmite.
You Marmite. What would you call your...
I Vegemite. Is it chunky? I don't really... The texture it kind of repels me. It is like a smooth spread.
Yeah.
But it's like thick.
It's a thick spread.
It looks like highly...
like highly concentrated oil.
Yeah, it looks disgusting. And it looked really disgusting when Keita was putting it in her nose and in her mouth.
Her putting it in her nose and then her eyes like rolling back. I did giggle at that.
So funny. Like the Divine reference without like going too filthy with it and like actually tying it into the product was very clever. I think she did, in my opinion, the best, but I think you think Elektra did the best?
I think Elektra did the best. I think that Elektra had like really funny, very funny moments that felt very advertisement to me.
Yeah, she directed it very well.
Yeah,
and
like
she had
the
points.
Pause and then walking in, like felt very much like an advert that like you'd see, and also and it's filled with and talent made me giggle a lot.
Oh right, because that was kind of where it lost me, because I was like, oh, it's like the false start of her spelling "see you next Tuesday."
Yeah,
I was like,
and because they always say you have to have the charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent.
Yeah.
And so
the
charisma.
She always says
uniqueness,
and talent.
Nerve, and it's filled with and talent. I thought it was funny.
Okay, now I get it. No, I'm just a little slow. I didn't understand.
It was a really funny joke.
It is funny, yeah.
You're just getting it now. Oh, God damn.
Oh, I don't want to put my stones off my mouth.
No,
from
don't make the
laughing.
stones fall. Cry, no.
Come back from like the pit crew blowjob and there's just like stones missing. Fully rhinestone penis. That would look like probably like ulcers on a penis.
You would know.
Well, you know about ulcers.
In
You're
the
one with
mouth.
Bad health.
Who did you think didn't do well in this week's challenge?
Scarlett Adams
I agree.
was the worst, and I don't understand. Oh, I guess her runway was kind of good.
Her makeup looks shocking on the runway in my
I
opinion.
always think her makeup looks bad. No offense. Actually, no, I'm gonna say it. She always comes for Elektra's makeup.
Yeah, she does. She always comes for others'
and
makeup.
I think her makeup is not better than Elektra's makeup.
No, Elektra looked great on the runway
I think
this
Elektra
week.
shapes her lips right, does her
Scarlett's
face right.
lips were fucked.
And those are two things that I think Scarlett doesn't do right. I think Scarlett does her eyes better than Elektra, but 2 against 1. The Maths.
The Math by Hilary Duff.
Is that a song?
Yeah.
How does it go?
If you can't do the math, then just shut up and kiss. If you can't do the math, then get out of the equation. I am calling you back. This is star 69. Is it a minus or a plus?
Does she say star 69?
She does. Then nothing adds up. Tell me why I'm here. Dun-dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun, dun. She's a rock artist.
You didn't show up to karaoke earlier this week.
I was sick.
Yeah, you should have done that.
It wasn't on the list.
Oh, well, that's why she didn't show up, I guess. Charity is only, there if the right Hilary Duff songs show up.
I was sick.
Yeah.
I was bedridden.
Sick of your excuses.
You're the one with ulcers on your lips.
You're the one with ulcers in your mouth!
First on the runway this week, we have
Electroshock.
Electroshock. I really, really liked this. I thought this was one of my favorites of the runway. I think, it was obviously simple, but there was like a nice koru design in her corset with stoned. It was a stoned koru. It was lovely. I really liked it.
I liked it. I think there were elements that were unfinished, but I liked it. It was nice.
And I loved her makeup this week.
I liked her hair as makeup. Wait, makeup hair.
Makeup hair.
I keep burping.
What did you eat?
It's because the corset on my neck is like pushing tension. I'm like, bleh. I'm gonna vomit by the end of this.
I give this look a yeah.
It's a yeah from me. Up next was Ketamine.
Up next, what's ketamine? Yeah.
Beautiful. This was really cool. Did you see her joke on Facebook?
No, what did you say?
Because she's like edited like all the butterflies flying away.
Yeah.
And she's like, right before I hit the runway, all these mechanical butterflies launched off the dress, but they flew away too fast for the cameras to catch them.
Oh, funny.
And all the people on the post like think she's being serious.
Oh
and they're
my
like,
gosh.
wow, more impactful than Asia's. She used real butterflies. At least you used mechanical ones. And like, she did it. She's joking.
I'm sure they're making jokes there too.
Maybe.
I still feel bad for the butterflies. But apparently they were just asleep, not dead. But they probably got stilettoed on.
Cameron did put her pussy on one. That's an itchy part of my tit. Oh no!
Kita's look. I loved Kita's look.
This is falling.
Put yourself together!
I give it a yeah.
I definitely give it a yeah.
Ooh. Up next,
Not the accent guy!
in the Big Brother house, Karen from finance.
In the dining room.
Having a shit.
Karen's,
No. Nah, don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I appreciate that she stoned it,
No.
but I didn't like it as a fashion moment.
Can I compare it to someone without being told off?
Yeah.
Etc. etc. You know how she did like a very feminine silhouette when she did like the scuba diver?
Yes.
That's what this needed. This
Oh,
didn't
absolutely.
have that. This was very, it was just a fireman costume.
I give it a nah.
Nah. Who was next?
Art Simone.
Okay, I'm conflicted.
So am I.
I really like it. I wish she'd done Kath for Snatch Game. It would have been smarter. Even though I do hate people doing characters.
Yeah.
It just made more sense to do it then. But I'm glad we got to see it. I just don't know if it fit this runway theme at all.
Yeah, I don't think that it fit the runway theme. I think that she was like, look at me, I was going to do Cath Day Night and I had this costume. So
Yeah.
for me, that felt bizarre. Like a very bizarre choice. But the Cath costume was good.
Yeah, she looked good. She sold it. She did the dance well. That was funny. I will only because I like the reference, but you're on thin ice, bitch.
I liked it as much as Karen's.
You are impossible.
So maybe I'll have to give it a nah.
Okay, that's valid. I thought you were gonna Karen's. I was like, no.
No.
Shut down this filming production. I'm out of here.
I really like Art though. I'm really glad she's back.
Yeah.
What?
It's so patronizing. You're like, I don't like this song. But no, like, I'm glad she's back.
Well, I just don't want to. I don't like hurting people's feelings.
I'm sure she's not gonna see this. Yeah, no, I'd like her too. But yeah, this wasn't it. No. Yes. No, I liked it. What are we doing? What are you doing? This disagreement. I liked the look, but maybe you have points. Maybe it is a nah because it didn't fit the runway theme. Nah. You changed my answer.
Okay, I'll give it a nah. Next up on the runway is It's Saturday.
I liked it.
I did. I liked the first part a lot more than any other parts of it. I really liked the I don't know how to even describe it. It was just fun and peculiar.
It was kind of Club Kitty.
Yeah.
I did like the metaphorical, kooky, quirky, kitsch, quick and keen, hashtag King Ketamine approach. I like the quirky take of the naturalism aspect, and then you unravel it to a even kookier Wildfire. But I wish the Wildfire was a little bit more explosive, it yelled fire a little bit more.
But I loved the first part. I loved the life that the forest look showed. And I wanted to look at it more, when she took it off, I wanted to keep looking at it. I wanted to see more. I wanted to look at everything that was there. It looked fun and peculiar. I fucking loved the little, that I love a tiny little red bang wig.
Yeah, I do know that. We're gonna find that out in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we are.
But wait.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it was a yeah from me.
It was a yeah from me.
What would you have done for this runway? Because I think I have some ideas what you could have done with this makeup today.
Sheila from the forest, I probably would have done a woodland witch.
See, I think you could have been the dingo from Uluru that ate the baby because you got the blood on your mouth.
And then we have Scarlett Adams.
I actually really like this look, unfortunately.
I like the reference.
I do think for the bush it is a little bit of a reach, but I get they went to the outback and there isn't really a lot off. There is bush. Yeah, maybe it was off theme.
What was the actual theme title? Because I kept thinking it was forest. Sheila
in
the forest.
From in the bush. Something in the bush. I like the runway enough as its own. I think maybe where I punished when you twisted my arm for being off theme, I will give it to this one, unfortunately, because I'm a little cross, but it's a year.
I like the reference. I think that you could see mistakes in the construction of it, and I didn't like her makeup. I'm going to give it a tentative yeah.
Yeah.
Maxi! I didn't like this.
No, it didn't make sense, did it?
But I love Maxi.
Again, this thing with the costume, she's just got this Kate Shepherd cozy. That'll work for the bush runway, right?
She just keeps looking like Little House on the Prairie, white dress, and I'm like, there's something else, Maxi.
Bingo diva. I will say, doing a bush theme and then doing somebody colonial feels like the opposite of what you should have done, It was enough from me.
It was enough from me. Who are your tops and bottoms this week?
Ooh, and runway included.
Yeah, runway included.
I got to say with the runway included, this is me, Ava Max, by the way. My tops and bottoms of the week. With runway included, I would say, I think runway maybe saved Scarlett. I think. Oh no, etc. shouldn't have been in the bottom A.
No, I don't think so.
Her challenge was bad, but there were worse. So yeah. I've got to say maybe Maxi and... Oh no, you know who I think should have been the bottom? Karen and Art, both of them.
Really?
Their commercials were really bad, and their runways were both bad. So yeah, Karen and Art.
I think that I could have seen Karen, Maxi, and Scarlett in the bottom. I liked Art's idea and quite a lot of her jokes enough that I think that she deserved a safe placement. And my top two, no doubt about it, Kita and Elektra. With Elektra, I think doing the best.
I agree.
The judges decided that Scarlett was safe, which I found unusual.
Me too. Fuck her.
I think... Yeah, it was weird. The judges decided that Elektra won the challenge and etc. and Maxi were the bottom two.
So what do we think of the lip sync itself?
I really, really enjoyed Maxi. There was something that like watching her put a smile on my face. She had so much joy, like, and etc. was the moving great, but I wasn't engaged in the way that I was watching Maxi. The microphone was a hilarious
It
gag,
was very funny.
but then just seeing her like just give a lip sync and like have so much joy, it made me feel happy, and I was excited, and I felt included, and I liked her a lot.
I'll be honest, I only caught like some of the lip sync because when it was playing, I was so excited that it was that song. Me and my friend Mitch were in here. We were getting up and like
Absolutely, everybody.
windmill arming, like bopping, like that. Like that's the only time I've ever done that with like a Drag Race lip sync. I'm like, this is such a bar.
Such a good song.
But I'm just happier to see Maxi stay than etc. But I do think the bottom two was wrong.
Yeah, I agree. I'm happier to see Maxi stay over etc. But I think the bottom two was wrong. Yeah, I agree. Just exactly what you said.
Join us next week. We'll see if I've killed any poopies.
Should we say anything else to close it up?
I don't know. I'm fucking tired of
You
this.
keep throwing this around.
Oh, you've got blood on ya. Fur is murder.
Where's the puppies?
Whoopies.